Is Chantel on the call?
Oh, there she is. She's
look
just
at her.
doing
She's
it.
right on it.
Thanks, Chantel.
Woohoo! Yay, Chantel.
Thank you, Chantel. We'll just give the other folks a couple of minutes then, and then we can get started at 11:05, okay?
Sure.
Yep.
Sounds good. Multitasking in the background until then.
Yeah, all of us multitasking in the background, no doubt. Ron, I got some information since we talked yesterday.
Okay, I was on mute. I hope you couldn't hear me.
No, should I have?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk at noon for briefly, and I've got something at 1.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm running around too. I'm going to try and get down to the P-Coder session this afternoon on their drug stuff.
I'd like to hear what you found out.
Yeah. One of the things I found out that I think we all might find interesting is that in the last year, the Ontario government has changed the lab that has been doing blood work for everybody. So, and it apparently, in some cases, quite significantly changed the results that are coming out of that lab.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So in the HIV area, I don't know what else, but I know in the HIV area, everybody's CD4 count, which is really, well, it's a big count of your immune system, has been significantly lower.
Oh no.
Yeah, so a lot of people were like panicking for a while that, oh my gosh, I'm suddenly got all this problem, and it turned out it was actually not a problem at all.
Wow.
I wonder if it's impacting viral loads as well.
Apparently not. But I don't know. I didn't actually ask.
Mm-hmm.
All I know is certainly it was impacting results in general, and CD4 cells definitely. They said they really noticed quite a difference.
Well, I was in a meeting yesterday and met the person now responsible for Public Health Ontario, where I guess the new lab work is being done.
I guess so. But, it just goes to show you, right, that so much stuff can happen behind the scenes in healthcare, you know nothing about, and you have no idea. And so, people start making decisions about what to do with their health based on things that they think have changed when maybe they really haven't, or I don't know. Anyhow, it's something to keep in mind.
Okay, it's 11:06. Let's get started. Yeah. We'll have to send the recording out, which was a great idea, Leah, to the people who weren't able to. Yeah, it's a great idea. Dial in. So I'll just start by updating everybody. We have actually 166 people who've registered as of today. And of that 166, I haven't done an exact count, but I do know that there are over 70 patient and patient group representatives attending. So that's really fantastic.
From 9 provinces, right?
Yes, from 9 out of the 10 provinces.
Which I think is really fantastic.
Yay!
So, it's so
it really is. It's really good. Yeah,
so
really good.
The reason that I'm sharing that very positive stat is just to let everyone know we're going to have 7 patient breakout groups. So we'll have a total of 7 facilitators in all. What we're going to do, just so that everybody's aware, we're going to pre-slot our patients and patient group folks into one of the 7 groups. We're going to put a little number in the back of their name tag so that when we're ready to break out into our first session, they'll just look at the back of their name tag and know which group they're going to go into. I'm going to make up a little sign with a number on it for each of our facilitators, 1 through 7, and they'll be able to find their table easily. So that's just a quick logistic item I wanted to cover.
And we're also going to let people know that in principle, kind of that's their group for the duration. Although if anybody, really after the first session feels strongly that they want to be in a different group, then, that they can certainly do that. But we would like to try to keep the groups generally the same number. We don't want like everybody in group 1, nobody in any of the other groups kind of thing. So, within reason, if people really have a strong urge to be in a particular group after group 1, okay, but.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I ask a question?
Of course. That's what this is all about.
My question is, are there different stakeholder representatives, and are you sprinkling them in an assorted fashion into each group? No, these are we're talking about the patient groups only. So okay, so they don't have. But the observers will go upstairs to their own breakout groups, as they did last year. Is that your question? No, my question was, do we need to account for people wanting to stick together, same disease group? Oh yeah, no, we don't. Yeah, well, in a sense, we'll organize them into these groups. Yeah, slot them into the different groups so that they're not all, with everybody from Save Your Skin isn't together. Yeah, for sure. We'll do that in advance. That's why we're sort of organizing it. That's one of the reasons, at least. But, so I think we should discourage any changes that just mean everybody from one organization is all in the same group, for sure. Yeah, that's really part of what I'm getting at. And if they're all patients, well, then that would be the issue. I wondered if there were other stakeholders mixed in. Not at all, no. Okay. They'll go up into their own room. Okie dokie.
Okay. So, is that good, Ron?
Yes.
Yeah. At the same time, we want to acknowledge that, these are adults, and if for some reason after the first breakout session there is some, a person in your group that's really doesn't feel it's a good fit for them or something, and they do choose to walk over to a different group, that's okay, but we just don't want mass exoduses kind of thing. Yeah, if there's one or two that feel strongly, let them go. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. I'm just going to move on. We'll talk about some other logistics as the call goes forward, especially the use of huddle. But I just wanted to do a really quick recap of when the breakout sessions are occurring as per the latest agenda that I assume everybody has now received through the email we sent out last week. If you don't have a copy of the agenda, just let me know and I'll send you one immediately. So on the first day,
could you send it to me, Rose? I really don't recall seeing it. So if it's easy to send it, please.
Yeah, it's easy, Ron. Yeah. Okay, so I will send that, Ron, to you and anyone else who doesn't have a copy. On day 1, the first breakout session is going to occur at 1 p.m., so right after lunch. The second breakout group is going to occur at 3:30, and then the third breakout group is going to occur on day 2 at 11:45 a.m. In addition to that, at 8:20 a.m. on day 2, we're going to have a handful of the group facilitators doing a report back on the outcomes of the groups from day 1, and the messaging for that session at 8:20 will be constructed by the DPPS steering committee the night before. So you know,
and if any of you want to join that, like if you feel that it would be useful to you to be part that evening, the first evening of, you know, sitting in on that while we construct it, if that'll help you present the next morning, you are obviously welcome to do that.
Very welcome.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, very welcome. Yeah, very welcome. That's right.
So, and this is evening of night one?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is what we're doing is going to roll up the content from the working groups from that day. Those of you who were there last year will recall that that's what we did last year. And then we put it up the next day and say, so this is kind of how far this is what each of your groups sort of said. And then but we're rolling it up so that it's in like, you know, themes. So that we'll roll up like all the themes around data that came out of the groups and all the themes about drug pricing or whatever the themes that seem to become clear. And then rather than so it won't be like group 1 said this and group 2 said that and group 3 said that. It'll be all the groups said this, rolled up about data, and all the groups said this about drug pricing, and all the groups said this about hospitals, or whatever, however it breaks out. And then we'll get kind of an endorsement from the room as to whether they think that's what they said. You know, is there anything that they said in their group that they think didn't get collected here? And we can add it on so that by the end of day 2, the same as last year, we actually have a pretty good working draft of an action plan for next year. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So what we're going to ask each of you, what we'll ask each of you we can't have all the facilitators help us with this. We just won't have the time, or I just think it won't work. But we thought if Ron, because he's done a lot of facilitation work in the past, could kind of manage the orchestra, and a few of you could do the presenting that morning, that would be really great.
I'm crossing over from, you know, I'm on the steering committee, I'm a facilitator, so I expect to be there in the evening and there in the morning, and just
great.
So conduct me, Ron.
Since you invited me to facilitate the session in the morning, for sure I will stay with you in the evening.
That's great. Thank you for that. Great.
Love it.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Hi,
John. You know, John, you're welcome. I mean, everybody's welcome. I suppose you'll expect to be fed as well.
And housed at a nearby.
Oh yeah, and housed, of course.
And a nearby 5-star resort.
Yeah.
Called the Don Valley.
That Eglinton and the Don Valley, not so much.
So hello everyone, it's Cheryl Ann. Sorry for joining late.
Hi, that's okay.
Hi.
Hello.
We've been taping this, you know, recording it. So if you want to know what you missed, you can listen to the first part of the recording.
Super, thanks a lot.
Yeah, you didn't miss too much.
No.
So we were. So that's the plan for the morning. That morning session. Cheryl Ann, we were just inviting anybody who is presenting on the beginning of the second day, you know, rolling up the themes that came out of the first day. If any of those folks want to stay with us and help us roll those up the evening before, they're welcome to do that, although I assure you it's not obligatory.
Okay, so that would be the night of the 13th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You've got me held prisoner there anyway, so.
Perfect. That's why we picked that location.
Mm-hmm. I just have to tell you that I've been a very bad girl. I didn't book my room yet, so I'm going to do that as soon as we hang up.
Ooh.
All right. Well,
you better do that, Sherilyn.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'll share a room with somebody if anybody needs it.
No, I want to get my own room, but that's sweet of you.
No, that's fine. No, I'm not. No, please do. But if anybody finds,
I heard that, Louise.
Yeah, you and I have shared rooms many a time, Ron. You and I have been roommates.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, so I didn't have to.
Okay, now we're getting really off topic. I need to bring everyone back in.
Being pushed out of a bed by Louise. Being pushed out of a bed by Louise is better than sleeping in a tent in the Don Valley. Okay.
Okay. Let's get back to our agenda, please. I wanted to make sure all the facilitators also knew that I'm going to send out an email after the call. It may not be today, but it'll be in the next couple of days. We'll share what the objectives of each breakout session are so that you have those at hand as well. As part of and maybe I should let Leah share this item, but as part of the book club that was established, we put together a preliminary set of value-based healthcare principles, a vision, strategies, and we're still working on the tactics. And the first breakout session is going to take a look at the vision and the principles, and part of the objectives of that first session are to basically have an open discussion on whether or not people agree to those, or if they want to add or change any of them based on what they've heard up until that point from the keynote and some of the social determinants of health considerations, etc. So that's one of the things, that's one of the artifacts we're going to use for the breakout session. And that document will also be pre-shared with the group facilitators so that you're not looking at it day of.
So if you have any questions yourself when you get it, do you have any questions about the content of it at all that you think you need clarified before you can facilitate that discussion, let us know.
Yeah. Leah, was there anything you wanted to add to that at all?
Nope. I just think it would be useful, yeah, if it's in one email that goes out, sort of the 3 different sessions. What are the objectives and key questions? Here's the materials. The sort of, I'm calling it the value-based healthcare, starting draft roadmap to use to get discussions going. And there's another document that Rose is going to talk about that will be used with the breakout groups. So just putting that all together for us into one package, so that people we don't get lost and confused searching through our different emails for different materials. It would be awesome and much appreciated.
Yeah. So there's going to be about, I'm just going to go back to how many people per group. There's going to be about 10 people per group. We do want to leverage the huddle tool that we're using throughout the summit to collaborate and capture notes. Each of the separate patient groups will have their own private area of huddle, and that's where we'd like to ask each of you to enter the notes that are captured from each of the breakout sessions. So I know myself, I've been wondering whether or not it's going to be possible to facilitate a conversation and be typing into huddle at the same time. If anyone feels that that's a bit too much, then we can always find a volunteer to help actually type the notes into huddle while you're facilitating your session.
That would be a dream, but I don't know if 14 people is realistic or not. But if it is, then
I would also say that it would be ideal. I've done a couple of meetings recently where we absolutely provided both facilitation and separate note taker for separate recording. So there may be some people who are comfortable doing it and they can do both. I'm a little skeptical about my own ability. We'll certainly do it if I have to. My preference would probably be for a dedicated note taker, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
So how many people would like a dedicated note taker?
I would.
That would help.
I would prefer it. I can do it. It's just the notes, both the facilitation and the note taking will suffer in quality a little bit, right? But
Right.
I can do it. If I have to,
I think we'll plan for everybody to have one.
Yeah, so maybe there's maybe it would be possible to we could do it one of two ways. We could ask if somebody can do it on the spot. The problem with that is they won't necessarily know huddle, right, if they do it on the spot. So Rose, should we be coordinating that in advance?
Yeah. We'll definitely figure that out in advance, Louise.
Okay, so consider it done somehow, and we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because given the size,
you're amazing.
Given the size of the groups, I think that it's going to be, facilitators will have their hands full just trying to make sure the conversation is going and, so that everybody in the group gets a chance to contribute to the conversation.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we had discussed that as a steering committee to really try to share with all the facilitators that we would like as much as possible to encourage everyone to speak and contribute, so we don't end up with the sort of loudest people dynamic that often can emerge in group facilitation. So that's really appreciated. It will help us be able to manage the 10 people and try to make sure that everyone's participating, even the quieter ones.
Yeah, I actually think, and Ron, you can speak to this from the facilitation you've done as well. I actually would like to recommend that rather than, just making it a free-for-all, that you actually go around and go ask the person in turn to make a comment.
Yeah.
Right.
So not popcorn style.
Yeah.
Not popcorn style.
Not popcorn style. So sort of like
as best I can. I sometimes there are people who don't want to contribute. I think that that needs to be respected if they have no comment. So it's not about forcing comments out of everyone, but we can try the going around.
Yeah, that's right. And then if the person says, you can say, if you don't have an opinion about it when we come to you, just say so, and we'll go to the person. But I don't want somebody to, saying at the end they never got a chance to say anything.
Right. Well, just coming back to the note taker or recorder on huddle issue. Do I understand correctly that we will endeavor to co-opt some of the people in the breakout groups to be recorders and make sure they know how to use the huddle?
Well, Rose and I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something.
I think the goal, Ron, is to find some people in advance so that they can take a look at huddle and watch the video and stuff beforehand. I think that's the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's the goal, I understand it. Under normal circumstances, if it wasn't on that platform, I often find there are people very willing when you go into breakout sessions to say who volunteers to be the recorder.
Well, I know, but I think we can't do that. Yeah.
Okay, so you'll do your best to pre-organize it, as you said. Okay.
We sure will, Ron.
Yeah.
All righty.
Yep. The other thing that I wanted to just call out too is we would like to ask the facilitators to encourage people to leave their laptops and phones aside during the breakouts so that they have 100% focus on what's being discussed. So if you guys can note that, that would be great.
Yep, sounds good.
And also consider encouraging them afterwards on the break or in the evening, if they have a second, to review what's happened on Huddle, just to, you know, get a sense of how the conversation was captured, because they'll all have access to it. And then it gives them an opportunity to be a little bit more comfortable with the technology.
Great.
What else did we want to share today, Louise? Leah, anything?
So the only other thing is that at noon on the second day, the steering committee, and again, all of you are welcome to join us, will try to roll up one more time what happened that morning, so that then by the time we get to the second afternoon, we will actually have almost all of the conversation, you know, certainly the day and a half of conversation rolled up and summarized. So that makes it easier at the end of that second day, just to be picking up the last threads from that second day. The other thing, I guess, just to let you know, is the observers, and you'll see it on your agenda. They will have an opportunity on the second day to present what they've come up with, in case we want to roll up any, you know, in case it creates any additional ideas that we haven't thought about that we do want to add to our action plan at the end of that second day. So they will get the opportunity to do that, but they are not welcome in the room during the time that the group breakouts are going on with the patient groups. So if anybody tries that, you just politely remind them that they're welcome upstairs, but that they're not part of the group in the main room. And the group in the main room, I've been a bit broad in the definition of patient. I am allowing like caregivers, it's patients, families, caregivers, it's that, you know, and patient representatives. That's kind of the broad definition, but it does not include government people, does not include pharmaceutical industry, doesn't include private insurers, doesn't include anybody sort of in any of those categories. And if you're in any doubt, just come up to one of us and ask, you know, is this person, if you have any sense of discomfort with anybody being in a group, don't try to deal with it yourself. Just come on up to us and we'll help you, you know, figure that out, let you know why we decided what we did. But we are, when people come, right, am I right about this, Rose? That when people come, they will know whether they're in the patient group or the observer group.
Yes, well, anybody without a number in their name tag won't be a patient group.
There we go.
Right?
Yeah.
So just one other item, I think from my perspective, which is, so Rose mentioned that during the first breakout session, there was some pre-work done on a draft vision, principles, strategies, and tactics that will be used. The vision and the principles during day one, and the strategies and the tactics during day two, and the breakout conversations that you'll get that via email. And if there's questions and need for further discussion, we can reconvene. And in that email too will be sort of what are the objectives and key questions for the 3 different sessions. There's one other artifact that's being developed and that you will get in advance, and that will be ready for just handing out so that people have it in front of them in the breakout sessions. And that's part of what's been proposed as an idea by some of the working groups, drug pricing policy working groups over the last year, is the concept of a patient-led value-based healthcare pilot. and that idea is going to be introduced to the groups and explored during the second breakout session, and then again during the third. And so in order, it may or may not be useful, but in order to help people if they're kind of sorry, there's some noise in the background.
It's Sienna. It's my cat. It's my crazy delusional cat.
She is so loud. Oh my God.
I know, she really is terrible. She's very old now.
I thought it was your great granddaughter.
No, she's very old now, and she just lives a life all of her own. I'm sorry. I'm not torturing her, I promise. I'm afraid of what she says.
So to help people just get, kind of maybe find a starting place or create some ideas, if there is, if people think, oh yes, a pilot would be a good idea, and they want to start brainstorming what a pilot might look like, a couple of the working groups sent out an email to over 100 Canadian patient groups to ask them what their top priorities for their patient populations are, their top 3. About a dozen of them replied with reports and sort of, top 3 lists. And we've been creating we've been doing a thematic analysis of that. So there'll be a 1-pager that pulls out the themes and sort of the most, frequent common concepts that came out of those themes that will be shared with you in advance, and that will be used during the second breakout group to stimulate ideas around this concept of a pilot for value-based healthcare. So that will be shared with you.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it's no secret, I don't think. If it is, it won't be after this call. That I would love to see coming out of this summit a working group that was interested. Both, and actually, we should make a Leah and Rose. Let's make sure that we mention this when we talk to the facilitators for the observer group as well, because what I'd love to see, I won't deny, come out of this is some enthusiasm for the development of a committee working group that could actually spend the next year constructing a potential pilot project. And it would have to be multi-stakeholder, but I'd love it to be patient-driven, because apparently nobody has ever done that yet. That the folks like Andre Diaz and that gang said no, they're not aware of that happening anywhere else. So it would be an exciting thing if we were to take the lead there. But I mean, it's only my dream. If nobody else wants to do it, then it'll just be my dream.
Well, I share the dream, and 2 working groups also are very interested in it, right? So it came out of all these discussions. So your dream is shared by a number already.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it really would be an amazing thing if we were able to do that. And I have spoken to a few funders about this, and I think there might be some appetite to fund a committee to work on that next year. I can't promise anything, but I think if we decided we want to do it, I think there's some people who would like to help us do that. The other thing that, just a theme that I think will come out of this summit, it may not, but I'd be really surprised if it doesn't, is the whole concept of what are we going to do with the fact that there are data all over the place, and it's different data being collected, and it's not being shared, it's not being collated, it's not being analyzed as a package. I think kind of under the table everybody knows that's happening, but nobody that I can tell of the stakeholder groups that holds these data are going to have the appetite to be the ones to say, oh, I'll share. I mean, that's just how it is. Data's power, and that's just how it is. So another, kind of dream I have coming out of this, and again, it may just be mine, is that the patient groups might be willing to put together a committee to do kind of almost like an analysis of where all the data are being held, and let us be maybe a driving force to bring these disparate groups together, federal, provincial, private, etc., to start
I mean, if we really do want real world evidence and we really do want the best data analysis we can get to make decisions for a value-based healthcare system, you know, who's going to blink first and start, you know, sharing these data? So that's
of
just
course,
another theme,
my
I suspect. Yeah, I know. But, you know, so it's just these, I mean, those are a couple of things that in the preparation for this summit have kind of bubbled up a lot. And I'd be surprised if they don't kind of come out at the summit, but maybe they won't. And I'm sure there are others that, you know, haven't occurred to us that will come up as well. But just to give you a sense of sort of some of the, you know, things that kind of seem to be bubbling up to the surface that you may well hear a lot about in your working groups.
Can I ask, just out of curiosity, whether there has been much discussion yet or any discussion anticipated around the kind of health system and health utilization data that can be had out of a variety of, you know, protected databases where this kind of information is available and could be useful for what you want to do?
Read your agenda. If you read your agenda, you will see that on day 2, there's going to be lots of conversation about this. Kai Hai is going to present.
Okay,
Andre Diaz. Andre Diaz is going to present. And on the first day, Shanil Patek, who is one of the patient group panelists, is going to talk about a database, a private database that he set up. So there's going to be quite a bit of conversation about that for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
It's entirely imaginable that the pilot project and the focus on data could even come together into one concept.
I mean, at a certain point, they will definitely have to. One's going to feed into the other for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, just getting the database stuff together is honestly a project on its own.
Enormous. It's enormous.
Yeah.
It's enormous.
It is enormous. Yeah.
So I'm just, you know, I'm just kind of, I'm just sort of pre-priming a little bit the pump about some of the things that I think you may hear in your groups. But I'm sure there's lots of other things you'll hear that we haven't even thought about.
Another practical question, if I may. Just quickly, are you open to people still registering, or is it closed now?
No, there are still a few spots.
Yeah, just a few, Ron.
Okay, because I was in, as Louise knows, I was in Montreal talking to the medical affairs people at Merck. There may be, I'm sure there'll be people from Merck, but there are a couple of people I met who I would like to inform, just in case they are unaware.
These are Merck people?
Yes, from the medical affairs side.
Merck's already registered a couple of people, I think. Have they not?
I'll tell you in a sec.
I'm pretty sure.
There's 4 spots left, and we're definitely trying to get as many.
Susan McLean from Merck. Is the only Merck we have on the list.
Oh, great. So we do have room for another Merck person if you want.
Okay.
If one wants to come.
I'm going to reach out to them this morning. That's fine. Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Hey, Louise, it's Cheryl Ann. Quick question. I mean, of course, I love what you're wanting to come out of this conference with for the pilot project. What do you think? Is there any way possible that we can even look into like getting a real official grant from somebody like at Kai Hai or somebody else to do this kind of work as well?
I think we would have to. Grant. I think we can. I think if we decide to go ahead with this, absolutely, we should see if we can turn this into a public-private partnership.
That would be awesome because
with academic support, ideally.
Like
research support.
It would be multi-stakeholder. It's got to be multi-stakeholder. But
we need time and expertise.
Because the thing that would make this different, would be that it would be patient-led. We'll be bringing the people together, and we'll be deciding what is really if this pilot project is value-based or not, from our perspective, instead of you're going to see a number of presentations at the summit about pilot projects that are going on in Canada. I don't want to bias you, but maybe I do. But just listen from your perspective. To me, all those projects are the same old players trying to keep their hand in, and I wonder how much they're prepared to really change the system in order to make, you know, to make this work. I don't think we have any, the thing about a patient-led group is we don't have any stake in whether money goes in the drug budget or money goes in the hospital budget. Like, we just want it to go wherever for populations it's going to make them the healthiest. And so I'm always suspicious when these stakeholders are the ones running the pilots about how objective they're going to be about that.
Okay, so just hold on to this. I want to make you aware of something.
Sure.
I know somebody. She's a very high level, well educated nurse. You know her. I think I introduced her to you at she was at the Value-Based Healthcare Summit. I've worked with her extensively at McGill. She is all about patients leading everything. And that was what she was doing at McGill. And her name is Patty O'Connor. And she actually is a consultant to a lot of these organizations now and actually reviews grants and yays or nays them on behalf of a lot of these organizations. And definitely, we want her in our corner. And I know if I approach her, she would be like on it like crazy.
Well, so this is kind of outside the facilitation, but what will come out of this for all of you, in case anybody in your group asks you, what are you going to do with all this? There will be a report back from the summit. It will contain our action plan. And then what I would suggest, Cheryl Ann, and I've said this already to a few funders, is I think we should sit down, rather than just sending it out as we've done in other years and saying, if you have any questions, ask us. I think we should actually set up, if one of the things that comes out of this is a pilot project, and even the data stuff, I think we should, as a strategy, go through and say, who should we sit down and go through this report with and talk to? And that sounds to me like she should be on that list.
Well, I'm even thinking I might reach out to her since you have a spot or two left open and see if she can
Hey, listen,
come.
If she wants to come, we'd be delighted to have her, absolutely.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Woohoo! All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Recruiting down to the last second, that's what I like.
Yeah, and if you have a few minutes, go look her up on LinkedIn, Patty O'Connor. You'll be impressed. You'll be impressed.
Yeah, I remember meeting her. Okay, so are we all now, John, are you ready for the summit?
Yeah.
I'm never ready, but once I get there, I'm ready. I've just been doing so many things.
Well, yeah, of course. But I mean, you're ready-ish. Yeah, you've at least got some basics from us today on the facilitation side. And I mean, this could be this has the opportunity, I think, to be a really amazing jump off point for, change. It really does. It will, it'll be as good as people want it to be. That's what I always say.
Well, if anyone has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me and Louise and Leah anytime before the summit. At the summit, of course, we'll be there for you as well. So yeah, don't hesitate. If there are any other questions that pop into your head about facilitation, do let us know.
Okay, and just Louise, I'll be sending you an email. We got to schedule a phone call together. I got a couple of things I got to talk about.
My pleasure.
All righty.
All right. Thanks to you all.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.